Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to talk about the polkadot staking. From reading most of the comments, I can see that people are quite scared staking on Polkadot and just overall using the polkadot.js org interface. So yeah, I decided to make this video. Basically, we'll just start real quick what the staking is about. So the main idea is that in the previous versions of the cryptocurrency, we had a concept which was known proof of work, where you would just, again, use the computational power to produce some blocks and then, we just say in some way, brute force hashes and get rewards for that. But in the new generations of the blockchains, something like Polkadot, what they implemented is something which is called proof of stake. And the idea here is that you basically delegate all of your DOT. DOT is the unit of the cryptocurrency to validators. And these validators, again, if they do a good job, they are producing blocks, they're not tampering with anything. And everyone who invested their dots into these validators, they're getting rewards. And if they're doing something bad, those people that invested in these validators, they're getting slashes, which means that some or even most of the dot can just disappear. So the idea is that in Polkadot you're receiving extra rewards by investing your dot into the validators, and this is why this is how this incentive system works. There are multiple ways to basically delegate your dot. There's multiple ways to stake. One way that I would love to walk through today would be through the official polkadot.js org application. And this is the one that I see most of the people are a bit confused of. So let's get one by one. First of all, I just recommend you to install the polkadot.js extension on your Chrome or Firefox if you didn't do it. So the idea is that with this extension, basically this is how you communicate with your wallet. You generate your accounts, you store them, you sign the transaction. So this is the vital part. Please install this extension. Now, once you're ready, you can go on the polkadot.js.org, then apps staking. I'm going to send the link. And let's have a look exactly what does this UI mean, because there are quite a few of things here and it can become a bit of overwhelming. Just one note here, if it takes too long to load this page, is completely normal. Because again, it connects to the node, it connects to the network, so it can take quite a bit of time to load this page. So real quick, the introduction to what's on the staking page. So currently Polkadot allows 297 validators, and validators, these are basically entities that are, again, that are producing blocks, that are wrapping all of the transactions, validating them. And basically when you're staking DOT, you're staking your DOT by investing your crypto tokens into these validators. 624 waiting. Again, this is the pipeline of those validators that are waiting, that are not in this session. And this is very important part, which is active and nominators. How many nominators? So as of July 2020, Polkadot allows 22,500 nominators, which means that if the number of nominators is going a bit more than that, no one will be able to nominate. It's very important because again, if we reach this limit of 22,500, basically nominate all of the new nominators that would be blocked. I really hope that in future it's going to be resolved, but this is the situation right now. One also thing to note is that they didn't put this on the UI. I would love, of course, to see it in future as a request. The minimum staking amount on Polkadot, as again of July 2021, not 2020, is 40 dots. Again, if you have less than 40 dots, I haven't really tried what's going to happen, but you need to have 40 dots and more. So yeah, that's the current situation on the minimum requirements, and they did it just because there was an issue of too many nominators staking very small amount, and again the memory of the WebAssembly was exhausted. But yeah, anyway, and another thing to note would be again how much, what's the value of DOT overall is staked, and what's the ideal stake, and what's the inflation. This is super important because well, in the beginning, Polkadot, all of the tokens on Polkadot, the supply was fixed, but after some time, they made the vote, which allowed the number of tokens to be actually infinite. Yes, you heard it right. The supply of Polkadot tokens is infinite, which means that there is no restriction on how many tokens can be minted. But the way it works is that in order to keep the system running in a normal way, this is the requirement of how much of total supply should be staked. So let's just say that from all of the tokens in the network, 62% are staked. So 62% are invested to again in order to support the validators. And this is the current inflation per year. So let's just say that the incentive here is that if you have 1000 tokens right now, in 1 year, it's going to be, let's just put it as 10%. Let's just say you have 100 dot right now. The next year, the value of your 100 dots would be decreased by 10% if inflation is 10%. So you would have something like 90 dot in the value. So in order to kind of bypass the inflation on the Polkadot, what they're doing is that they're really pushing you to stake your dot so that you are always going to have your dot a bit increased, and also you will not lose the value. So let's do a very quick math here. So if you have 100 dot, right? Let's see. So this is the stakingrewards.com calculator Polkadot. I'm going to share this link. So let's say that you are investing 100 dots, and this is the, let's say, yeah, for now it's 1,500 US dollars. And again, we can see that the total rewards rate is something like 13.5% per annual. Um, but don't be fooled by this number. So this number is not the net increase per year. Considering the fact that you have an inflation which is like 9-10%, as we showed right now it's 8.8. What you have to do is that from to calculate how much rewards, the percentage you're gonna get in the end, is you have to subtract the inflation from the total reward rate, which means that if the inflation is 10% and the total reward rate is 13.5%, your net reward for the Polkadot is going to be 3.5%. So always keeping in mind, because it would look very fancy to have 13.5% net annual return from the Polkadot, but essentially is not true. You always have to consider the inflation. And in reality, you're going 3.5 or 4%, but which is still not bad. So yeah, this is about this view. The next thing is that you have epoch and era counters. So the idea here is pretty simple. The era is basically 1 day, and this is the life cycle in Polkadot environment. So the idea is that if you stake some amount of dot for validators, validators give you the pay of your, we can call it dividends, every single era, which means that every single day you're going to get some rewards. If you're going back to the Polkadot staking calculator, and we just say that we have 100 dots staked, again this is US dollars. So every day you're going to get something like 57 cents if you're investing 100 dots. Every month you're gonna get $17, every week $3, and every year $200. Again, if you increase it, let's say for 1000, every day you're gonna get $5, and every year you're gonna receive $2000. So that would be some of the rough numbers. Play around and estimate for yourself. So that would be it. Again, just to summarize, the idea is that if you have a dot tokens, what you are doing here is you are investing these tokens into validators, and if they do a good job, you're gonna get the returns. If they're doing a bad job, you're gonna get slashes. From my experience, again, slashes never happen. Never happen, at least in my experience. Maybe I'm lucky, or just getting good validators. But it can happen for sure. One of my advices for staking would be again very diligent whom you're investing your dot in. Again, this is not a financial advice, but I would recommend you to stake your dot for some very known validators. Like for instance, one of the examples would be p2p.org. Um, and for instance, Zach Capital, I have quite some dot also invested in these validators. Oh, and yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot one of the most also important parts. Um, each validator, yeah, this is very important. So if you look at the validators table, you're going to see again what's the stake, on stake, commission, and points. We just really focus on these four tables, four columns. So first of all, we can see how much stake has been invested in each validator, like overall, by let's say people like us nominators, and own stake. So this is very important to know because you can estimate basically how much how much risk does validator take if something goes wrong. Let's just say that let's have a look at the Binance stake, for instance. Of course, this is the Binance, but just theoretically. So what does it mean is that Binance put only one dot in its own stake, and we have for over 2 million dots from nominators like myself, which makes it basically look like if something goes wrong with Binance, if one day Binance is getting hacked or Binance node is going to misbehave, the maximum is going to lose is a single dot, just one dot. That's how much the Binance put inside. But everyone else is going to get slashed. Again, slash could be 1%, 10%, depends on the problem that the validator actually did. But if you look, let's say, at this Polkadot Pro regular, we can see that the own stake of this particular validator is 500,000 dot. And this, for instance, for me, it gives much more reassurance because there is something for this validator to lose, which is 569,000 dots. That's a huge amount. Yeah, and again, in 2.8 million dots has been invested by other nominators. So I would, of course, like we know that Binance is pretty famous exchange, but my recommendation would be to also have a look what's on the stake for the validator itself, because if validator just puts one dot, this validator can misbehave, and yeah, what's next? Like it's just gonna lose one dot or fraction of one dot, and everyone else will lose the percentage. And another thing which is important is the commission. The commission is super important since this is how much payout you are going to receive. So let's just say for Binance itself, the commission is 100%. And the thing is, if you're investing in Binance validator, you're gonna get absolutely nothing. So what you have to do is the formula is you have to subtract the commission from the amount you stake. So let's say if you're staking 100%, and again, of course, it is 100%, but the commission is 3%, so you're gonna get 97%, and so on and so on. That's why I recommend you to also, if possible, if you see these nominators, to get those with the low commission. So it's a 5%, 3%, so that you're gonna get most of your return. So this would be the walkthrough of the Polkadot staking UI. So again, in the next session, I'm going to talk more about how to stake, and yeah, what are the ways you can stake your dot.